The date is September 10th, 1970.
Otka is here.
Is Ray with God, Otka?
So Ray stands with God. And now we should tell thee again of the time of the Antichrist. And the beast shall wear 10 crowns, and these crowns, as I would know them, shall be 10 nations. And as we have said before, the name of the beast shall be 6 times 66. And we should tell thee that we are not great, that we are only messengers from our Father, and only as our Father should give us of this information should we, in turn, be able to give it unto you. And of the Cherub, the Cherub shall be the 7 angels which hover above thy earth, on which our Father has given his power. Can you understand of which we speak?
I think so, Otka.
Then we should tell thee of a different time, and the time that a man named Jesus was crucified. And as he lay upon the cross, and as the spikes were driven, there were 2 others. Now we would tell thee of these 2 others. For our Father has said unto you, for the last shall be first, and the first shall be last. And as was spoken unto one, that he would take of them unto paradise with him. Now we would say, the last has been first, and now you have unto the second. Remember, our instrument was chosen then, and our Father's plans was made then. For it has been written that he would send unto earth 2 prophets, before the coming of the 7 angels. Now the angels wait above thy earth, and what has been written shall be. Your earth shall change its form, for the great sword shall strike upon it of both sides, For now is the battle of the minds of men. Remember, your greatest work is to unite all your religions unto one, and by doing so, not to change a man's faith, but so that thy and that man should respect each other's religion and your worship of God in such a way that each of you may enter our Father's many mansions in his own way. But your love for your fellow man shall be such that even though he enters our Father's kingdom in a different way from yours, you should help him to enter. Therefore, you shall put him above the latter, above yourself. And by doing so, you should climb tenfold. Now, for so Bartholomew, remember, our Father loves of you very much, and we know of your love for our Father. And we have said before, your knowledge shall come as raindrops, a little at a time. And in this method, when all knowledge is before you, you shall understand it and teach it unto others. Now go, Bartholomew, and cast your stone into the brook that shall flow to the rivers, and to the oceans, and to the many lands beyond. But go in love for all men. And for the wife of Bartholomew, we should say unto this soul, we love thee, walk tall by thy husband, but remember, some shall lead and some shall follow. Now we would say unto so Cal, and this has been said before, that a pupil should be satisfied to be as great as his teacher. And to teach, you must first become a pupil. Now we would say unto so Peter, we see thy time of need, and we shall provide for this time. And thy fruit shall bear of the sweetest of fruit, and shall become meat for the same. Can thy understand of which we speak?
No one.
Yea, Then we should say in a different way, the yoke shall become heavy at times. But remember, your yoke, your burden, is a loving burden. Your Father loves you and blesses you. And the healing that thy need in thy family shall come about. And for thy son, throw thy own stone into the brook. There are many of thy own age on your plane that should hear of these words. But remember, be the pupil first, and then the teacher. You have many questions. Ask of these.
Vodka, I have a question from Soul Bartholomew. He's very concerned. His physical health as to the relationship of his continuous gagging. Could you give him any helpful information at this time? It seems to be quite a worry on his mind.
Yes, we find this problem. The help that is necessary in the healing of the same shall be sent. We would suggest first that his problem basically is a sinus problem. That we would suggest the sonic baths at this time should greatly improve this area. We would also suggest in this way, remember a little of tobacco, as I would call it, or of the weed, as I should say, is good for the body, cannot harm the body. But too much can harm the body. And remember, we should take care of the necessary repairs in the physical bodies of the disciples of this work. But beware, do not push this body too far, for we cannot create, for we are not God, we are only the messengers of God. Can thou understand of which we speak?
Yes, Vodka.
Then the healing at this time shall be given unto this soul. And at this time, if thy group should pause for prayer for all healing in thy group, now that I have other questions, ask of these.
Another question, Vodka, in reference to Soul Bartholomew's wife, which he's greatly concerned with.
We
Yes.
see this problem. Yes. We would suggest the taking of the night rooming citrus. We would also suggest that her basic problem is in of the nervous system. Therefore, an eruption, as I would known of the basic nervous animal known as the casados. Therefore, we would suggest osteopathic treatment in the lower proportion of the back area. We would also suggest there is other work necessary at this time of the upper back area. We also find that in this soul that if thou would change of the music thou listen to, remember light and sound may affect your physical health. We would suggest for this soul for 15 minutes each day of meditation, but drink of the smoothing music, that which would satisfy thy soul, and meditate. This would greatly relieve this area. We see the passing, therefore, of congested blood of this area. This in itself could bring on complications. Therefore, we would suggest a good gynecologist. But we see that this time this should not be practical. Therefore, we would suggest in the vagina area an acid form of douche, as I would know it, washing of this area. This in itself, we would also suggest in this washing the proportions of the night blooming citrus, the liquids extracted from the same, be placed and used in the washing of this area. Can thou understand of which we speak?
Yes, Anka.
We have one other problem in this soul. Yes. We see, as she would call them, head spasms. We would also suggest that in seeking out a chiropractor, that certain adjustments be done on the sinus and the liberal gland area. These can be done quite simply by the shifting of the skull area, but be very certain in doing this that this comes about in a very gentle way, very slowly done. The music would do the same as this adjustment, but not as fast. This is all on this soul at this time. You have other questions, ask.
Yes, Anka. In relationship to our visit to San Diego, we have many, many requests for physical and health readings.
All of these shall be answered. We would say one other. So Ray, we shall place in his mind that he should rest more. Therefore, your readings shall become more lengthy. The usage of his physical body by us may be lengthened in this manner. We also find Send this message to the one who has lost in what thou would know of the San Bernardino area. God sees this, and God has taken care of this wrong. Then fear not, and what I have lost, we would say it in this manner: you are better to have cast aside this proportion. So walk tall in what I have at this time, and God shall walk with thee. Ask thy other question.
We have a question by Louise Laponte in La Jolla, California. Adka, is it necessary that we give you the complete rundown as far as life and birth and time of birth and all on these particular questions from these individuals who have merely a question?
Nay, these are not necessary.
And the question that she asks is, should I live at the house of John close on South Coast Boulevard, or should I stay living at the ballet studio of Dolores Croft?
This question is in this soul's mind, but not as a question. We would say, as we have said before, we may only suggest the courses of thy lives. We are not allowed to change these. These thy may only do of thyself, for they have free will, and our Father has given of thee this will. Therefore, we would say in this way: you are better, far better, to dwell in the house of the Lord. I know of the dividing line between this. But remember one other. What would be sin in the eyes of man is not sin in the eyes of God. Therefore, dwell where thou art at this time. You shall move in a different direction very near in the future, and this move shall take you into a path that shall be righteous with thy Father, and therefore your happiness shall become tenfold, for the one who waits you shall be, as I would know, very close to thy heart. Now, so Ray becomes very tired. Therefore, we would suggest at this time thou should waken so away from his slumber.